Ashtavakra will now discourse on the nature of dissolution or separation, disbanding, which is a separation from the mundane perceptions in mind. In this chapter, he will point to 4 different steps for a gradual settling into the ocean of self. It cannot be immediate. It must be gradual, because that is the nature of the natural progress of self-awareness. By way of the practice of the dissolution of the body consciousness, one will then become aware of its baseless existence, to the point that it becomes natural to no longer be confused by the duality of its arisings. Ashtavakra thus says, "You have no contact with anything whatsoever. Pure as you are, what do you want to renounce? Having dissolved the body with its consciousness and habitual tendencies, enter into the state of dissolution." When one remains as the observer of the rising thoughts, perceptions, and feelings of the body consciousness, one will come to see that these things simply arise from nowhere. They linger enough time to call out for your attention, and then, if left untouched and within their natural freedom, they return from where they arose. In this way, one will come to experience the dissolution of which Ashtavakra points. For one will come to recognize that these movements are nothing but ghosts. They are natural phenomena, one's own dynamic energy. That which comes from nowhere and returns to nowhere cannot be real. It has no foundation, no substance. Realizing this will reveal the self from within and bring a new perspective to the essence of pleasure and suffering. Ashtavakra now continues. The universe rises from you, like a bubble from the sea. Understand the non-dual self in this way. Like this, one enters into the dissolution. Here, Ashtavakra points to the basic understanding that one is like the sea, but one's attention is involved with the rising waves and ocean foam or bubbles, which is but the dynamic energy of the sea. These things may seem to arise for a brief moment and then return. But in reality, they are not independent by nature. They do not have a foundation other than the sea of water. Their existence as anything other than sea or water is purely an illusion. For waves and bubbles are but labels, and it is one's belief in their independent being that causes the confusion or delusion that they are anything other than the sea. Contemplation on this will gradually loosen the bindings of confusion and release one into one's own true nature, the all-creating self, one's own dynamic energy. Ashtavakra now continues. The universe, even though visible, because it is unreal, like the snake in the rope, does not exist in you, who are pure. Thus, in this way, one may enter into dissolution of body consciousness. Here, Ashtavakra points to the deceiving mind and how one must not trust it, being that it only assumes its perceptions based on thoughts and habitual tendencies. Each egoic mind is composed of its own innate nature of perception based on beliefs and karma. A rope on the path can be mistaken for a snake, and when one mistakes it in this way, one will react as if there really was a snake on the path. But in reality, the snake is only a possibility of the rope. It is not its reality. As is the case with a water mirage in the desert, a tree in the night being confused with a ghost or a being, or a man crossing a river on the back of crocodiles, confusing them with old dead logs. Do not trust the mind. It is not the reality. It usually steers you wrong. When one realizes this, one will enter into the dissolution. Ashtavakra now continues. You are perfect and the same in the arising of suffering and pleasure, in hope and disappointment, and in life and death. Thus, in this way, enter into the state of dissolution. One has now been directed by way of pointing out of what is stable and what arises. Thus, one can clearly come to see the real essence of the belief of suffering and pleasure, hope and disappointment, life and death, like or dislike. They are all but arisings, waves within a sea. They cannot damage the sea. To believe that these rising waves can affect the nature of the sea in any way is delusion. All the above-mentioned things simply arise from self. Briefly linger for your attention. And then, when left alone, they return back into their source. Follow them back into their source and reside in that. This is the dissolution of body consciousness.